What's up, baby dolls? It's time for another UFO video. I am so glad a gentle person here. We're going to watch this clip, you and me together. There is a quote here from Donald Trump. I was watching it in one of the clips, and he references, you know, the USA-Trump, USA-China tariff stuff. And it was just interesting because I was always saying, look, man, I love China. I love Matt. You guys don't have the UFO tech, though. Okay, you probably got something. You don't have this one. You don't have these. Okay, these are like deep top secret. We're going to watch this clip, friends, and it's going to get very interesting. Right here. Let's go.
So, yesterday Trump said this.
Powerful. This country is very powerful. It's far more powerful than people understand. We have weaponry that nobody has any idea what it is, and it is the most powerful weapons in the world that we have. More powerful than anybody, not even close.
And
so I'm going to go through, but man, I'm looking at him and I'm like, I know what you're talking about, bro. In fact, you probably don't even know what you're talking about. Like, we all know. Okay? Even UFO stuff. Like, who says that? We got stuff out of this world, man. The most powerful. Like, you can't even imagine, you know, the hell you're looking at. Yeah, it's UFO tech. UFO tech, when I go through some stuff, friends, it just refers to, just like I know what the hell I'm talking about, it's zero-point energy things. Manipulating gravity. Things that it's meant to be science fiction, but it's actually not. We've been able to do this since like the 1950s, 60s. Dr. Stephen Greer talks about it. It's very controversial. I don't know how far back it goes because the UFO community, there's like every stream of, you know, conservative or progressive in it, or people who think like we're all doomed or everything's going to be okay. It is interesting, but eventually it'll bleed out into society. He's a Donald Trump. That's what we're talking about. And it's going to lead into AI. It's going to lead into semiconductors. It's going to lead into Trump-China tariff war stuff out here. We're going to actually end with like Uncle Ray Dalio with the economy and stuff out here. But let's continue, friends.
Today I came across this interview from the 90s, a documentary. The documentary is called Secret of the Black World, and this is Jim Goodall speaking. Take a listen.
I had the opportunity over the years to interview, again, people who have worked at the test site at Groom Lake. One gentleman spent 12 of his 30 years in black programs at Groom Lake. When I asked him, I said, first of all, I said, do you believe in UFOs? And he looked at me with a straight face in one-on-one. He said, absolutely, positively, they do exist. I said, can you expand upon that? And he said, no, I can't. About a year later, we were talking about, again, activities at Groom Lake. And I asked him, I said, you know, can you really tell me what's happening out there? And he said, well, there's a lot of things that are going on there that I won't be able to tell you until the year 2025. But we have things in the Nevada desert that would make George Lucas envious. Another individual who was an NCO, an E9, which is the highest grade you can get as an enlisted man. He's a chief master sergeant in the Air Force. Was a safety specialist. He had 3 different tours of duty at Groom Lake on various programs. Now, he had no connection with my friend who worked on the other black programs. We were talking. I interviewed him at Nellis in 1985, 86 time frame. And I said, what's out there? And again, he looked me straight in the eye and he said, we have things out there that are literally out of this world. I said, explain. He said, I can't.
So, thoughts on?
Interesting. Yeah, you've been watching stuff. We know that out of this world. It's kind of funny because mainstream society, when they hear out of this world now, they think, what do you mean? Like aliens are real? Yes. Get over it. Stop being a little bitch. We're the aliens, by the way. I got some cracker stuff. Friends, do you want to know some weird stuff? Do you know the moon? You know the moon, friends? The moon's hollow. They tested it. NASA, they crashed the ship into it on purpose. It rang for hours. It rang like a bell. Their description. It literally rang like a bell. The moon's hollow. I think it's like 5 or 6 kilometers or something deep, and there's like, it's hollow inside. It's probably watching us. And what do you mean it? And who's they? I don't know, dude. Go ask them. By the way, we tried to go back. they told us stop coming. Yeah. Friends, I've heard some stuff. This is kind of like, I might have to do even more juicy content on here for you. This stuff, I don't know if it's science fiction. I don't know where it goes, but okay, NASA sent stuff on the moon and simultaneously they took pictures, and then the deep state stuff, military, they got remote viewers. They got Ingo Swann and Joe McMoneagle, you know, our OG remote viewers. They got them to remote view onto Mars and the moon, and they could see similar stuff, by the way. They've looked at both of them. Now, what's interesting is with the moon, when they kept remote viewing, apparently they got told psychologically, stop coming here. Stop coming here. You don't belong here. Okay? And they're basically saying it was other UFO beings. I think they said they look like the tall Nordics. They look like tall white dudes. Okay? Giant elf type weirdos. Right? Not weirdos. We're the weirdos. What are you talking about? Right? So, but this is where the science fiction part comes up. I don't know if it's science fiction. Okay? I don't know. So apparently, there's a story. They kept doing it. And one of the Kia, Coconut Intelligence Agency, one of the dudes who kept remote viewing, they didn't listen to the Mr. Aliens. They kept saying, stop coming here. Stop coming checking this out. Apparently, one of them, their mind basically got sucked. It basically went into a coma. It's almost like he was remote viewing, and they're like, you know what? Humans aren't learning a lesson. They keep coming here. Show them we mean business. So the guy went into like a vegetative state. Now, I don't know if that's, you know, Coconut Intelligence Agency. What they do is, friends, is this is the tough part with the psyops. They have the truth and they put like the poison pill inside. So there's a bit of the truth there, but then they do it to redirect you. It's kind of like it's so undeniable. Okay, aliens are definitely real, but they go, okay, aliens are real, and this is what you should think about them. So that's why it gets tough out here. Also, something about the moon, friends. The moon. This is gonna flip. This when I learned this flipped me out. Friends, did you know? You know you're a human. I'm a human. We're all human. Did you know our bodies? We are more attuned for Mars than Earth. Did you know that? Did you know that? We're more attuned. Our circadian rhythm. It's actually. And our bone structure and stuff, it's actually more tuned for Mars. Right? Which is strange because the Bible, all of these ancient texts, they talk about us using to live on Mars. There's fossils on Mars. I made videos, you know, I've told you about many of these other things, right? Now, this is where it gets a bit, I'm like, wow, this is a strange thing. You know, the moon, friends, he's the moon, old moony boy. If you remove the moon from the orbit of Earth, apparently, Earth doesn't have a 24-hour day cycle anymore. It has 8 hours. Interesting. So it's almost like Mars is where we're all coming from. We all actually came from. It's almost like that, where we all came from Mars. And just to let you know, scientists, they did research on Mars, friends. They have this Xenon isotope. You can only get it from a thermonuclear war. Yeah, it's only found in thermonuclear war, not found anywhere in it's a very, very unique signature. Very unique. They never found it anywhere else, on literally anywhere else, this specific isotope. We get it here in our thermonuclear reactors. So it's almost like millions of years ago, there was an ancient war, or someone got blown up on Mars, and I guess Mr. Moon comes out, don't know who it is. They basically go, okay, let's get because our DNA is attuned to Mars. It's almost like, hey, here's the Earth planet. Let's, you know, do the atmosphere and everything on Earth. And here's the moon. And let's actually just mimic the conditions of Mars because it's getting the humans over. So to make it inhabitable, which is crazy. Now, remember, just to let you know, I put all of that together. So in terms of like, I found this info, it's stuck in my head. I'm like, that's weird. Wait. I remember, because I remember this learning from months ago. I told you, okay, I learned that our bodies are more tuned closer to Mars more than Earth. And then I learned that if you remove the moon from the orbit, Earth's basically not juicy anymore. It's something to think about. Donald Trump as well, friends. That's why I wanted to show you this video. Donald Trump talking about we have these weapons. Do you remember, friends, the drones? Remember the drones, Donald Trump? Do you remember that? Remember all the drones came out, New Jersey drones, and then it's like, oh, well, and it just disappears. Man, that was only in January this year. Do you remember that? Obviously, there's some Fugazi stuff going on here, bro. It's not like your, some Chinese factory drone coming out here. Friends, these drones as well were doing stuff. We don't have the tech to do that, bro, with drones. I guess the verdict's not out on it. We don't know what happens. It could be US military, but here's the thing. There were so many. There were so many. Why were there so many? Another thing that makes it difficult, the phenomenon is what they call them. The phenomenon, right? Mr. Alien dudes. I call them Mr. Alien dudes because I like them. Mr. Alien dudes. It could also be that it was actually UFO ships and they're doing a hologram to make it look like a drone. Yeah. Because it's very, very clear, friends. For the past 100 years, we have been like slowly but surely moving forward to getting used to aliens and the other existence of the universe. It's very, very clear. If you notice that we always go like 2 steps forward, 1.8 steps back, 2 steps, like very like you learn something and then they pull it back. You learn something, you pull it back and you go forward. You're just getting slow and slow, getting more forward. All of this stuff I was showing you, some of this stuff from the 1990s. 1990s are like, whoa, man, like there's stuff going on out here. Like we're like way, way, way beyond that, right? It's kind of funny in the UFO community. Like no one's even talking about, hey, are these things real or not? Like that is, okay, dude, that's kindergarten stuff. Like we're way beyond that. Now we're on the, do you think they're here to help or harm? That's the next conversation. Here's another thing. So you might say, well, let's use logical reasoning. If they wanted to blow us up, we would have been blown up yesterday. That's true. However, there could be stuff going on where we're just not used to processing stuff like this. Look, part of the UFO, remember I told you just about the remote viewing on the moon? There was something else. Ingo Swann. I should read the book after. I did not know the book was filled with this stuff out here because a lot of these things, friends, what I've actually noticed is, see me, I don't give one truck. I don't give one truck. If I read about something, I think it's interesting. I don't care if it looks science fiction or whatever. I'm going through that. I've got to process that with you. What I've noticed is a lot of the people like we're watching in the UFO community stuff, like they're scared to say this stuff because their peers will think they're absolutely bonkers. So they'll leave like really fantastical stuff out of the information. One of the information, friends, is when they did the remote viewing, I've got to go watch it. That Giorgiani guy, I've got to watch out the source of this. So one of them, they were doing the remote viewing. They remote viewed the black side of the moon and they said they could see humans, but there's like no atmosphere. It's almost like he assumed that there's a bubble over them, but he couldn't see the bubble. Yes, but there was humans there and they were slaves. And when he was remote viewing, they basically, his consciousness got targeted and they said, stop coming in here. Stop coming here. Okay, that's great. Human slaves on the back of the moon? Weird. What do they need us for? Is it like the Simpsons? We're just whipping us? What do you know? Bro, you've got infinite energy. Why do you need humans? That's why this thing can get confusing, right? Because you don't know what to believe. But it's not about really believing. You just, see, that's where UFO community people, they speak more about that. It's like, you still haven't figured out that something big is going on here. I've got a quote here as well from Ashton Forbes. So all these friends, when we go through this, okay, it's very clear, okay? Humans, us, there's a super long-term plan. I'm talking, like, it could be like 1,000,000 years for us, man. You know what I mean? It could be 1,000,000 years, 1,000 years, whatever it is. You and I, our flesh and body right now will be dead. We'll probably do the soul loop. I'm coming back as a butterfly. I'm going to keep coming back as a butterfly, friends. I'm going to keep haunting all these people who try to fight our bags. Okay? But for everyone else who's still figuring it out, it's very apparent, yeah. We're getting like more information and then it like disappears. And everyone's like, oh. Then there's more information and it disappears again. Just getting everyone programmed in to understand that something is, well, there's something out there, multiple dimensions, how consciousness works, parallel things happening, what time is. We don't even really understand what the whole time is, yeah. time things can fork. Could we go back in the time and future? A lot of things to discover. Ashton Forbes, I love this quote. We're going to watch this clip as well. He goes, we brainwashed ourselves into thinking energy must be conserved into 3 dimensions. With this constraint, we've become slaves to entropy. Energy isn't conserved in 3 dimensions, though. It's conserved in 4 dimensions. The final dimension is the 0 point energy, the ether. Okay. So all of this, Trump tariff, UFO, all these other things, it's all leading to this. Okay. This is when I knew, how I knew crypto is going to be around and the government's not going to kill it, is because nobody is getting assassinated for talking about Bitcoin or crypto. The government doesn't care, dude. All right. It's not the threat. The threat, it's funny, Bitcoin maxis think, the Bitcoin dollar is a threat. Bro, sit down. Move, okay? Sit down. Here's a Pokeball. Just go play with yourself in the corner. No one's to play with you. The real threat is 0 point energy, okay? You want, friends, if you have a death wish, go publish. Don't do this, but like, go find out the article equations to publish of that 0 point energy. You will be finished. Do you remember I covered, there was a director, rest in peace, gentle Mr. Sir up there. There was a director who now, unfortunately, no longer with us. He made an expose documentary. He got all these people who mysteriously either disappeared and their families, or they were basically on the run, had to go into hiding, basically go out of the public eye because they did stuff like, they found some equations where they could either power the home with like a water tank, and they were releasing 0 point energy stuff. Like, these guys are like figuring out the equations, and then their houses get raided, everything gets destroyed, and many of them got murdered, literally straight disappeared in a body bag, gone. All of them, every single one, not one was left. Literally not one, because the only people that were around, not allowed to open their mouths, okay? So what they did is the Coconut Intelligence Agency, they went after the director. How did they go after him? They poisoned him. He got something like, he went from no cancer to stage 4, like liver, in something like 40 days. Yeah. And it's literally impossible to grow that fast, I believe. Impossible. So, yeah, they poisoned him and stuff out here, right? So it all comes to 0 point energy. Okay. 0 point energy, it's pretty much what you think. Like, it's 0 point. I'm sure there's equations and stuff out here. This guy sounds pretty smart. Let's see if we can understand some of the words he says.
Nature does not insist on conserving energy in 3 dimensions. We do because we have a 3-dimensional mind. We like to think in terms of space because observation itself destroys time, and what we look at is spatial. So we like to think the world is made of space, not space-time. However, nature loves to work in 4 dimensions. Her fundamental law is conservation of energy must apply in 4 dimensions. Now, you're not going to beat that one. So never think about that. But there is no law of nature that requires you to come in and say, also it must apply simultaneously in 3 dimensions. If we build some gadget that makes it apply in 3 dimensions, we apply an extra constraint on what nature will give us. Turning that around, we go around building things that insist on having this 3-dimensional exchange of energy. We got to put it in 3 dimensions for whatever we get out and lose some in the middle. So we got a terrible situation all the way. It's called entropic engineering. We always got entropy beating us to death. Never go over unity. Forget it. Lose a lot. We talk about, efficiencies at 30% and so forth for our power systems when we talk about burning the coal and all that stuff. But nature doesn't require you to do that. All you have to do is break a little bit of this 3-symmetry set of chains where you have tied her feet to the floor. Once you break the flow in 3 dimensions, you no longer have to conserve energy in 3 dimensions. The basic conservation of energy is an inflow from 4 dimensions, outflow in 3 dimensions. From the 4th dimension, converted and flowed out into 3. And that one is free. Giant negentropy is free. Nature will start reorganizing a goodly percentage of the whole vacuum for you, spreading at the speed of light, and will continue it as long as you leave the dipole alone.
Okay. So I understood some of those words. Get him, Spooty! I understood some of those words, man. The nature of physics and all of these. Man, scientists, you really let us down. I thought you guys had it down packed. Like, you just think, okay, If 2 plus 2 is 4, how can anybody argue with that? Totally wrong, man. Totally wrong. Friends, I remember I reported to you, the Department of Defense of America, the DOD, the DARD, there was something like 20 science labs around America in the 1980s and 90s. They reported cold fusion is real. They did science tests. They go, oh, cold fusion, remember, nuclear fusion, so heat fusion, you got to heat something up to get your energy. That's actually how we blow up rockets and how we move stuff around. That's your car and stuff. But cold fusion is if something goes down to 0 degree, because it's so much easier to cool something down to 0, right? If you compared to like going up 50,000 degrees, yeah? If you cool something down to 0, there is energy there. It's called cold fusion. It's meant to be pseudoscience. Well, 20 labs around America literally found out, oh, cool, this thing is real. The Department of Defense went to every single one. They said, hey, you're going to reverse your decision. You're going to shut your mouth. You're going to publish in the papers that you could not get anything to repeat and that it's total fugazi and it's all pseudoscience. And they all did, and they shut their mouths. Couldn't believe it, man. So it is true, friends. Like, they're all paid chills. Everybody's a paid chill. And it's funny because, like, we're in crypto, man. Like, we could not. That's why, friends, UFO guys and crypto guys literally joined at the hips, okay? We could not give one truck what somebody who's blue-pilled has to say here. Your opinion literally means nothing. In fact, your opinion means something only for fading. You know what I mean? Like, oh, your opinion means 0, but actually I want to take the opposite view about it because you're a cuck your whole life. You're a hotel cocktail enjoyer. We cannot live in this world where the blue pill person has any say because they're blue pilled their whole life. It's literally, they go, government, yes. Up and down, yes. Of course, friends, okay? You don't want to be contrarian with everything. You know what I mean? Like, you're at a party, everyone's like, hey, let's order pizza. And you're like, no, let's go order Mexican. Even though the Uber driver's going to be 1.5 hours away, it's going to be cold by the time we get here. We're like, bro, Larry's just so contrarian. Can we just get pizza? Pizza, Larry, pizza. Please, everyone wants pizza, bro. We don't have to be contrarian for this. I get it, Larry, bro. We're going to have pizza tonight. I get it. But when it comes to these other worldly topics, it's something interesting to think about. There are also some scientists, friends. They pretty much hint, okay, well, this one's a bit nerdy as well. There'll be a word or two we understand, but they just use, you know what, let's just listen to it. Let's just listen to it.
And experiments have been done. I've certainly participated in making some of these coils myself with toroidal coils to try to open up a gateway between our energy density, our universe, and a parallel universe. In fact, there's evidence of at least 6 others. Where you make a gateway between, you know, us and a parallel world, like you'd open up an energy well, if you wish, into an upper energy density level or to a lower energy density level.
Why? Because do you consume a voltage field in an electronic circuit? No. Voltage performs a physical process of opposite electrical attraction.
And as you adjust the pulse frequency, and you're tuning into the dielectric properties of water, airflow goes down to a minimum, and voltage tries to take off towards infinity if the electronic components will allow it to happen.
Person that knows nonlinear oscillation theory, and also we have to have another one that knows nonlinear oscillation control theory. Those are specializations. You don't...
So, friends, as you can see, there's a lot of these guys that chalkboard. I'm telling you, man, these guys are off the chart smart. They're like, they love the papers and the printing and like, hey, let's do the equations out here. But we're the ones, we like put it together and we're like, oh, this nut job with this turtle plus this glass of orange juice put together, put on a squeaky chair, package it in a box, we have everything put together. Right? That's why when I was younger, I never used to understand when people say like, oh yeah, the pioneers of this world, they're literally, it's really close from complete skits retardio to genius. It's really, really, really close. I never understood what that means. Now I understand what it means. Right? There's this bleeding edge stuff out here. Because you're looking at anomalies, that stuff that don't make sense to everyone else, and you're trying to put a pattern to them. And there's 100 times it fails, but that one time you make a breakthrough, that's how everybody pretty much levels up. So all this stuff out here, science, friends, we're always at the frontier. It's kind of funny, man. I remember when I was in school, science teachers were like, well, we've learned 99% of everything we need to know. Bro, you were teaching us the wrong shit. No one knew. No one knew because it's just hand-me-downs. That's why, friends, the government, central bank controls the fiat money. They pay all the universities, and then the universities, they employ people. They go, hey, you're going to brainwash everybody and teach them the old debunked shit. It's all part of the same system, right? Now we're going to finish off with some Ray Dalio, friends, because ultimately China, Trump, USA, it's all going to come down to the UFO tech, Habib. All of it. There is a new world order coming. We know that. The Great Reset. I know, friends, look. You better grab Spoonie. Spoonie's gonna do a lot of damage for us, friends, because, okay, we're all gonna get debased. Yeah? That's why we hold crypto. You know, UFO guys, God bless your heart, man. You guys, like, you know what's interesting as well, friends? A lot of UFO guys, they understand the monetary system inside out. I couldn't believe it. Like, they know, oh yeah, it's just print, like, they go, oh yeah, the central bank just does this, they print this, they control everyone. I'm like, bro, you guys are like made to be turbo long crypto. You're made for it. I don't know why maybe a lot of them are. They just don't talk about it because it's just like money. It's like, there's digits going up and down. This is like, you know, answering the question of humanity and existence. Let's listen to Uncle Ray Dalio.
Right now, we are at a decision-making point and very close.
No, Uncle Ray, no! What happened to you, sir? Uncle Ray! Okay, we're back, friends. Sorry, Uncle Ray, someone slipped him a cap into his glass of water.
Right now, we are at a decision-making point and very close to a recession. And I'm worried about something worse than a recession if this isn't handled well. A recession is 2 negative quarters of GDP, and whether it goes slightly there, we always have those things. We have something that's much more profound. We have a breaking down of the monetary order. We are going to change the monetary order because we cannot spend the amounts of money, so we have that problem. And when we talk about the dollar and we talk about tariffs, we have that. We are having profound changes in our domestic order, how ruling is existing, and we're having profound changes in the world order. Such times are very much like the 1930s. I've studied history, and this repeats over and over again. So if you take tariffs, if you take debt, if you take the rising power challenging the existing power, if you take those factors and look at the factors, those changes in the orders, the systems, are very, very disruptive. How that's handled could produce something that is much worse than a recession.
So there's Uncle Ray. Just to let you know, friends, Uncle Ray, when he talks, he's always, this is a concern, Uncle Ray. It's always a concern, but he's like always turbo long, but he's always hedged as well. So remember, Uncle Ray's dealing with multi-billionaires. He's got the world portfolio, I think, as well. I think basically if you're guaranteed to make money every year if you buy this portfolio. It's got like a mix of bonds and then gold and stocks and stuff out here. People are saying, Sammy, shouldn't we get that? It's 6% per year. Yeah? So if you're so scared of red candles, that's what you're going to get. 6% per year. Yeah, you will never have, you won't have a drawdown. Any 10-year period, you have like a 99% chance you're going to be growing at 6% per year. Now, Habibi, they print 7 to 8% per year of the money supply. So as far as I'm concerned, that's pretty poop. Because they're robbing you of 8% and here you get 6% one here. So you got to think about it, right? But see these words, new world order, new monetary reset, new technology stuff coming. There's always going to be something new around the corner. And that's why they always say, you know, may you live in interesting times. We are. We don't have all the answers and stuff out here. I wonder though. Friends, there are bones on Mars. Whether people like it or not, I don't care, dude. There's literally bones. Go to that. I remember I made the whole made the segment about it. You could literally go to that. I forgot what they're called, the JPL. I think the JPL, the Jet Propulsion Laboratory in America. Go request that thing that Joe McMoneagle said pretty much. There's bones on there, so it just feels like that's the next frontier for humans. Let's go to Mars. Let's see what happened there. Oh no, we found bones. What happened there? This is not meant to be part of our paradigm. It'll all come out here. Obviously, after all of this, you got to be long crypto, bro. Because, friends, if there's just a 5% chance any of this stuff is real, or just 5% of it is real, how do you think it's all funded? The money printer. Friends, do you honestly think, please, okay, put your shirt back on and stop tweaking your nipples for 5 seconds before you retweak them. Do you honestly think America is going to stop the money printer when China is second best now, trying to catch up to it? And now it's a battle of who's got the better UFO, semiconductor, anti-gravity tech. We're going straight into money printing bonanza. By the way, so just to let you know, friends, what happens is this happens in history. Both sides print a gargantuan amount of money and they have that race. That's a new space race. It's an AI race, right? It's an aliens race, whatever it is. So money supply units get thrown out there. That's why, man, UFO community, please, guys, learn how to just buy crypto, bro. Just like get your BTC and your ETH. And if you want some soy, just please, man, please. Because like they know so much. I just don't like seeing them just sit on that hotel cuck chair and just accept like that they know what's going on, but they're holding the debasing currency. You know what? My President Pump is going to pump the shit out of this bull market. Like, subscribe, Billy, but not catch you soon.